When you're playing points or match play, are you just hitting the ball back to where your opponent is and ends up being pushed? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain 3 different ways to make your opponent run, some common errors with that, and also a few drills to practice that. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to dictate points by making your opponent run and not just hit the ball back to where it came from. So let's get started. So the safest and the easiest way to make your opponent run is by hitting straight and cross-court shots. The reason why it's easy is because you can do this from the baseline and you don't need power at all. You're just going to have to use the same strength as if you're trying to continue the rally. And with this directional control, you'll be able to make your opponent move from side to side. So let's start with the feeding drills. I'm going to place a couple of markers on the other side of the court, creating 3 different space. And your goal is to hit your forehand down the line and cross court shots alternately. Something that I want you to be careful is not to hit in the middle space, because if you keep hitting in the middle, that's where your opponent's standing, and you're not really making them move. So be sure to aim either left or right space on the other side of the court. After a couple of feeding drills, try this rallying drill, and it's called pass the line. So on my partner's side, I'm gonna draw one straight line starting from the center mark from the baseline. Your goal is to hit cross court and down the line shots alternately to make your opponent run from side to side, and count how many times your partner crosses that middle line. The more your partner crosses, the better it is. The common error when it comes to directional control is that players tend to hit right back in the middle of the court. If there's not much enough angles, or not aiming the corner of the court, then you're not really making your opponent run. So be sure to um, make your opponent run by hitting cross court, diagonal, and straight shot. So the second way to make your opponent run is approach shot followed by some volleys at the net. Because you are at the net, you're so close at the net, you can aim corners of the court easily, and you can easily aim away from your opponent. So this second way is a little harder than the first one because you have to be able to hit approach shot and do the volleys away from your opponent. So for this one, we're doing a drill called the short ball attack. We'll be using just half south of the court, do the straight rallies from the baseline. As soon as you see that short ball coming to you, you want to hit that approach shot on the other side of the court, make your opponent run, then you approach to the net, you hit that volley back to the other side again. So you're making your opponent run from side to side. You can do this on both ads and deuce side, just to practice your both forehands and backhands, volleys, and approach shots. The common error with this one is that people tend to stop and just watch their ball when they hit their approach shot. Again, the whole point of doing this approach shot is to steal the time away from your opponent, and you have to be at the net by the time your opponent hits the ball back. That way, you can easily do volleys, you're ready for the volley, and you're ready to hit the ball away. So the third way to move your opponent is deep and drop. Moving your opponent side to side is not only the way to make the move. With this deep and drop, what you're going to do is you hit one deep ball and push your opponent back behind the baseline. Then, if you see the short ball coming to you, instead of hitting it away from them, you do a drop shot, so that your opponent will have to run from the baseline towards the net. This is the hardest way among those three because first you have to be able to hit a really good deep ball with lots of topspin, and then drop shot. With the drop shot, you need a great touch. Okay, we'll start off with some ball fading drills. Let's just start from the forehand side. So one deep forehand shot, and then your second shot would be a backhand drop shot. Now with drop shot, try aiming the service box. Um, the way to know if your drop shot is effective or not is to see if your drop shot lands within the service box. So the first bounce is obviously has to be in the service box. Pay attention to the second bounce. The second bounce should also be within the service box. And once the forehand side is finished, try the backhand side as well. One deep backhand to push your opponent push your opponent backwards. Then one drop shot into the service box. Okay, so three different ways to make your opponent run. The first one is simple directional control, hitting cross court and down the line, moving your opponent side to side. The second way is approach and volley. Hit your approach shot away and volley away from your opponent to make them run side to side. The third one is deep and drop. Push your opponent backward by hitting deep shot, then hit a drop shot to make your opponent run forward.